A quiet janitor used a bottle of bubbles to calm a girl having a meltdown in the hallway. He didn't know her mother, the CEO upstairs, was watching the entire thing. "Hey now," Marvin said gently, crouching down. "It's okay to feel loud things. You just gotta let 'em out soft." He said it like he'd said it before. Not rehearsed, remembered. The girl on the floor didn't answer. She sat cross-legged against the marble wall, fists clenched into the sides of her sweatshirt, breathing too fast. Her face was flushed, blotchy. She couldn't have been more than 9 or 10. Her backpack lay unzipped nearby, its contents spilled across the floor like the aftermath of a storm. Marvin didn't get too close. He'd seen panic before. The kind that lived just beneath the skin, all jumpy and electric. Get too close and it flared. Touch it wrong and it burned. He set the bucket down quietly. From his shirt pocket, he pulled out a tiny plastic bottle, bright pink cap, scratched label. Looked like it belonged to another world entirely. He unscrewed it slowly, dipped the wand and blew. A single bubble drifted out, then another, and another. The girl blinked, not at him, at the bubbles. They floated sideways across the hallway, caught by the current of the building's fancy climate-controlled air. One bumped into a glass wall and popped. Another landed in her lap, still no words, but her fists unclenched. 3 floors above, on the 38th, Elena Langston, founder and CEO of LXD Holdings, watched from a security monitor. She hadn't meant to. She was headed to the elevator when she noticed the paused feed on the lobby console. A little girl. Alone. Then a man in a gray maintenance uniform appeared, crouching beside her. For a split second, she'd felt a familiar spike of panic. Stranger. Child. No staff nearby, but she hadn't touched the panic button, because the man hadn't touched the girl. He blew bubbles. Now Elena stood there, one hand hovering above the elevator button, frozen. Marvin watched the girl's breathing slow, just slightly. Not all the way, but enough. "Mind if I sit here?" he asked softly. She didn't answer, but she didn't shake her head either. He eased down beside her, careful to leave space. He was large, 6'2", broad-shouldered, palms like leather from 20 years of work. He made himself smaller. "You want to tell me what happened?" he asked. "No," the girl said quickly. Her voice was high and tight, like a balloon about to burst. "That's fine," Marvin replied without missing a beat. "Sometimes I don't want to talk either." He blew another bubble. This one floated up toward the ceiling lights, wobbled midair, and vanished. The security guard, Joseph, leaned toward the screen on 38. "You want me to go down there?" he asked. Elena didn't answer. The girl on the monitor had turned slightly. She was watching the bubbles. Her hands still trembled in her lap, but her posture had shifted. Less coiled, less cornered. "Who is that?" Elena asked. "Kid?" "No, him." Joseph squinted. "That's Marvin, works custodial, does the late floor rotations, quiet guy." Elena narrowed her eyes. "He's not on camera much." Joseph shrugged. "Keeps to himself." She stared a second longer, then turned and walked back toward her office. Back in the hallway, the girl finally spoke. "My name's Iris." Marvin smiled, soft and slow. "That's a pretty name," he said. "Marvin, like the cartoon Martian," he chuckled. "Exactly like that, only taller." She didn't laugh, but a hint of something flickered behind her eyes, something lighter. "I got in trouble," she muttered. Marvin didn't say what for, or "that's okay," or "I'm sure it wasn't your fault." He just nodded. "Wanna tell me?" I yelled at my tutor. "Threw my books." Called her a robot. Was she? A little, Iris said. But mostly I was just mad. Mad's a heavy thing to carry all by yourself. I don't want to be mad all the time. "Then don't," Marvin said gently. "You can set it down for a while, doesn't mean it goes away. Just means it doesn't run the show." She didn't respond, so he blew another bubble. This one made her reach up instinctively and pop it with her fingertip on Elena's desk upstairs. Her phone vibrated. A text from Clara, the tutor. "Iris had another episode. I've left for the day. I recommend reevaluation." Elena stared at the screen. reevaluation, as if her daughter were a product going through quality assurance. Back in the hallway, Iris was drawing circles on the floor with her finger. "You're not gonna tell on me?" "Nope, but I broke the rules." "Then you get to fix him." She looked up. "That's it. Seems like a good start." She was quiet for a while. Then, "Why do you carry bubbles?" Marvin leaned back against the wall. His knees cracked slightly as he moved. "My boy used to have these when he got overwhelmed. Some kids needed noise-canceling headphones. Mine needed bubbles. Where is he now?" "Big, loud, still carries a wand in his glove compartment." Iris blinked. "You mean he still blows bubbles?" "Only when he's really mad," Marvin said. "Or in traffic." This time Iris did laugh, just once. But it was real. They sat there a while longer. No rush, no solution, just bubbles and space to be broken in. Then a voice echoed from the end of the corridor. "Iris." The girl flinched. Marvin stood slowly, stepping back so she could see who was there. Elena stood in the doorway, still dressed in her heels and slate-gray suit, looking like she belonged on a magazine cover or a battlefield. She took a slow step forward. "I've been looking for you," she said. Her tone was even, but her eyes betrayed something, a twitch of guilt or maybe worry. "I was." Iris hesitated, then looked up at Marvin. "I was with my friend." Elena followed her gaze. Her expression shifted just slightly. "Thank you," she said to Marvin. He nodded. "Any time." Iris stepped toward her mother, but before leaving she turned back and reached for Marvin's hand. "Can I keep the bubbles?" Marvin handed them to her. "Only if you promise to blow 'em at people who need 'em most." She nodded solemnly. "I will." They walked away. Eleanor's hand hovered near her daughter's back but never quite touched. Marvin stood there, alone again, picked up his bucket, and moved on. That night, Elena Langston stood in her daughter's doorway and watched her sleep. Iris had fallen asleep with the bottle of bubbles still clutched in one hand, the wand cap twisted off, a dried soap ring at the rim. Her sketchbook, the one she only ever filled halfway before abandoning, lay open on the pillow beside her. A new drawing. Elena stepped closer, careful not to wake her. In the sketch, Iris had drawn a man kneeling in front of her. His arms were big, his shirt was square, his smile was small but steady. She'd drawn the bubbles like soft planets orbiting between them. There was something in that paper space Elena hadn't seen in her daughter in months. Stillness. Not blank. Still. In the morning, Elena didn't send her usual assistant to schedule the follow-up with the behavioral therapist. She didn't forward the tutor's recommendation to her legal team. She didn't check the headlines, her inbox, or the 12 DMs waiting from the press. She just made a black coffee in a real mug, burned her toast, and rode the elevator down to the lobby herself. Marvin was there, pushing a yellow mop bucket across the marble, earbuds in, shoulders rolling gently to whatever music only he could hear. He didn't notice her at first, not until she stopped right in front of him. "Miss Langston," he said, pausing the music with a subtle thumb tap. "Everything all right?" Elena paused. Then, "Can we talk?" They sat in the corner break lounge behind the mailroom. Marvin brought her a paper cup of tea from the machine. She didn't drink it, just held it. There was no staff watching. No PR cameras, no noise, just quiet, fluorescent silence. "I didn't get your last name," she said finally. "Harper," he replied. "Marvin Harper." "Iris called you her friend." Marvin smiled faintly. "That's so. She doesn't do that. Not with kids, certainly not with adults." He said nothing. "Let her fill the air herself. You calmed her. No yelling. No explaining. No charts or protocols." He shrugged. "Didn't seem like she needed all that." "What did she need then?" Marvin looked at her, steady, kind, a little sad. "Someone to sit still long enough not to scare the pain away." Elena stared at the cup in her hands. "When Iris was 4, I found her trying to draw a picture of her own voice," she said. Marvin raised an eyebrow. "She said it sounded too big inside her and not big enough outside. I didn't know what to do, so I signed her up for classes, therapists, coaches, emotional curriculum, but nothing." Translated, she looked up at him. I'm good at fixing things, companies, markets, timelines, but not her. She's not broken, Marvin said softly. Elena went quiet. He didn't press, just sipped his own tea. I lost my wife to cancer, he said after a while. My son was 8. We both broke different ways. I tried too hard to stay strong. He just tried not to scare me. Elena glanced at him. Did he get through it? Marvin smiled. Still working on it, but he draws now, same as Iris. She draws, but she never shows anyone. She will, he said. One day. How do you know? Because she drew me. They sat in silence again. This time it wasn't heavy, just full. Later that day, Elena pulled Iris out of her afternoon session with a consultant. Instead, they took the long way home. No driver, no tablet, just them. Iris stared out the window until Elena spoke. Tell me about Marvin. Iris looked at her, suspicious. Why? I want to know how he helped. Iris was quiet for a while then. He didn't try to make me smaller. Elena blinked. Smaller? Everyone else wants me to be less loud, less weird. Less much. Elena swallowed hard. I didn't mean to do that, she said. I know, Iris whispered. The next day, Elena returned to the break lounge, this time with a brown envelope. Inside, a check already signed, 6 figures. Marvin looked at it, then looked at her. That's a lot of bubbles, he said. It's a proposal, she replied. You ever think about running a program for kids? I clean floors. You do more than that. He studied her face. This isn't a handout, she added. This is an offer. Marvin took a long breath, then slid the check back toward her. I appreciate it, truly. But no, Elena looked surprised. No, I don't want to run a program, but I'll sit with them. One at a time, bubbles and silence, that's what I got. She stared at him. And for the first time in weeks, she smiled. Not the kind she wore in front of cameras, the real kind. That's enough, she said. A week later, Iris started leaving tiny drawings on Marvin's cart, little sketches of bubbles, people in clouds, a cat wearing a cape, no signatures. Just soft evidence of connection. Marvin never mentioned them out loud. But every time he found one, he folded it gently and tucked it into the small pocket of his work apron. 2 months later, on a rainy Thursday, Elena walked into the staff kitchen and paused. Marvin was sitting at the table with 3 kids, all from different floors. All with eyes a little too quiet for their age. They weren't talking, just drawing. And every few minutes, Marvin would blow a slow bubble that drifted across the room. Nobody popped them. They just let them land. Epilogue. 6 years later, Iris Harper Langston, 16, takes the stage at a youth mental health summit in D.C. She's taller now. Hair braided back, sketchbook still in her hands. She speaks not with practiced lines, but in steady truths. When I was younger, I thought I was too much, that I had to shrink to fit in the world. But then one person sat next to me and didn't ask me to be smaller. He just blew bubbles. She looks down, then smiles. I learned the world's loud, but not every noise is bad. Some of it's music, some of it's memory, some of it's Marvin. From the front row, Marvin watches, still tall, still quiet, still carrying a wand in his pocket just in case someone else forgets how to breathe.